Welcome into a special episode of Prize Picks on 5 here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks to our producer, Alejandro Villegas. Doing something a little bit different today. I know everybody got fat on the football yesterday. We won a lot of money for a lot of people, actually, including myself. But today we're going to do some soccer, the original football here. We got USA England coming up at 2 o'clock. And we're going to give you our prize picks with our guy here, Austin Robillard. You can follow him at Austin Robillard on Twitter. And he's going to give you the picks. And one thing I want to make clear here, well, first, use that code 5, F-I-V-E, get your initial deposit matched up to $100. They do not have rollovers. This is literally free money. So, just go on there. You don't have to put down 100. You can put down 20, and they'll give you 20. But why not? Because you don't have to play it all at once. And here's the other thing. You can pair your World Cup picks with Heat picks from tonight. No Jimmy Butler, by the way. But you can pick, or with NFL picks for Sunday, or with FSU Florida picks, or with college football tomorrow. You can mix sports. That's something that a lot of people don't recognize, but you can also give you some pure World Cup plays here as well. Austin and I are going to go over some of the soccer picks. And look, here's the other thing. There's a lot of categories, okay? It's not just goals. It's shots. It's assisted shots. It's saves. There's all kinds of stuff on here. Let's go through it a little bit here, Austin. And what do you like today in USA and England?
Well, I think the match itself is going to bring a lot of intensity, and that for me is kind of where I'm basing my picks around. So the first thing that I was looking at is the tackles category, and I think that if we go to the tackles and you look at Anthony Robinson down there, the left back for the United States, I think that England have great wingers, and with the intensity moving up and down the wings, I think they're going to want to try and exploit that. If there was a tackles for Serginho Dest, I might go for that too, but I think Anthony Robinson is going to have to get stuck in against either Raheem Sterling or Bukayo Saka. So I think over on 1.5 tackles is a really good play. It's something that I'm putting in my own personal one. Harry Kane is an interesting one for me too, because I really thought he was going to go ahead and score. Now he has the 0.5 goals. I would take the over on that. However, if you go over to shots and you look at that stat, it's at 3.0. I think with that being at 3.0, it's a little high for me. And I think that it's a little high because the U.S. did a great job against Wales. Now, granted, Wales don't have any type of player like Harry Kane, but they did a really good job at limiting shots from the center. And Harry Kane's not one of those guys that are going to move from left to right. If anything, he's going to be moving up and down. So I think that going under on Harry Kane 3.0 shots is more of a safe play than going over on goals. England showed the quality against Iran. They have a lot of different attacking talent. So I do like that for me as well. Now, one thing that I've done throughout the entire tournament actually is taken the under on goalie saves. They've always had it at 5.5. For every single match, they've had it at 5.5, and I've put under on every single one. Now, I don't know if it's always the best. I will say I've hit it on about half of them, but okay. I think that with this match being as intense as it is, it's going to be a midfield battle. I don't think a lot of shots are going to come out in this match. Now, if there's an early goal, forget it, because if there's no goal, the game's going to open up, and I think back and forth these teams are going to use their pace up and down the wings and try and take a ton of shots against the keepers, and some of them might not even be quality shots. And if it's a low ball to the bottom and the keeper just picks it up, it still counts as a save. So that's something you have to worry about. But if you look at this Netherlands-Ecuador game that just finished up, it was extremely tightly contested. The battle was always in the midfield, and I think there was only 3 saves over the course of the entire match, and it was a 1-1 draw. I see something like that happening in this England-USA game just because of the stakes, just because of where the U.S. lie. I know they're going to have to get stuck in. I think they all know that they're going to have to get stuck in. And with that said, I look at some of the passing stats too. I look at some of the passing stats for some of the midfielders on both sides, and I saw what England did against Iran, and I saw that Bellingham, Rice, a ton of passes. However, right now, they're at what their averages probably were over the course of other international matches. I think like around the high 60s, 70s. I'm not touching those. I'm not touching those at all, because I think that an early goal changes the game. And if something like that does happen, whether it goes both ways, the under and the over could be extremely exploited. I think it'll be close if the game is close. But again, the early goal always concerns me. The one passing stat that I did like, though, was to go less on Serginho Dest. He's at 34. He's at 34.5. He's the right back, or the right back for the United States. I think defensively, he's not that sound. And the reason why I'm saying going under on his passes is because I think that Gareth Southgate is going to tell his English players to go at Serginho Dest. And if it's something that is being taken advantage of in the first half, I don't think Greg Berhalter is going to be afraid to sub him off. And you have other right backs. You have other right backs on this roster who are going to be able to take advantage of that. So those are kind of my picks. Those are the ones that I'm leaning towards. Harry Kane, I think you can go over on goals or you can go under on shots. I like both. Unfortunately, you can't pick both in a lineup, but I also should mention it's flex day. It's Friday flex day. So I'm running 4 picks. I'm doing a 4-pick flex, and if you hit all 4, it's 8 times your money rather than the 10 times you would get for a power. So I think it's great value.
Yeah, the flex picks, again, usually that gives you a little bit of leeway here in case you miss one. And Alejandro put that up there for you. So this is a great day to sign up using the code 5. The one thing to mention here, a couple of things. One, the goals, Harry Kane is literally the only guy on the board. So, right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's you can't put Pulisic on there or anything like that. It's just Harry. So if you want to find other players today, you've got to go to the other stats, and you can pair it with Harry Kane, or you don't have to. The other thing I think is interesting is typically when we do these NFL picks, we all go over on everything. It's like rooting for something to go over. But I understand why you're going under on a lot of this stuff. And I think sometimes, again, people are playing PrizePicks forget you can play the unders. You don't have to play the overs. I think 90% of what David and I do on the NFL or what Greg and I do on the NBA is the overs. You don't have to. You can go under. I just want to clarify on one thing here. Where it says shots, is that shots on goal or is that's just shots?
That's just
goal?
Shots. That's just shots in general. And actually, I'm kind of surprised there's no shots on target or shots on goal prop. There usually is. And I actually just had one in this last game for Cody Gakpo, who scored for the Netherlands, and it was over. I put over 0.5, and it hit, of course, because he scored. Yeah. But I was confused by that. I thought I would have liked to see that because maybe I would have taken a Harry Kane over 1.0, maybe just to get it even if I wanted to do that. But yeah, it's just shots in general. And actually, you bring up a good point there. Because it's just shots in general, I think both Pulisic and Weah, the two prolific wingers for the United States, are at 1.0. So if you want to take your risk on a 6-pick flex and maybe go down to a 5 or a 4-pick if they hit even with just one shot, might as well go for it because it is Flex Friday. So that's another thing that I was thinking about doing as well.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And again, the reason I think that they only got Harry Kane up there for goals, they're not expecting a lot of goals necessarily in this matchup. So if they end up putting a bunch of guys up there at 0.5, you play the unders, PrizePicks is going to lose a lot of money to us today.
Right.
I think that's the reason that Harry Kane's the only one up there. I'd follow his work, and Austin Robillard. We're going to keep going here during the World Cup. Make sure you're using that code 5, FIVE. And again, look, you got the Flex Friday here. If you're not that comfortable with this, play one soccer prop and then throw in a college football prop, throw in an NBA prop, or throw in an NFL prop for the weekend. I still like that Hill over. Hill and Waddle over has been paying off consistently this year. You can play those with it. Thanks to Austin. Thanks to our producer, Alejandro. Use that code, FIVE.